Roger, Eagle. Go for landing, over. Roger, understand. Go for landing. Eagle looking great. Houston, the Eagle has landed.
Hello, everybody, and happy Friday, and welcome to Desk Jockey Fitness. And today is Fun Day Friday. We are going to answer questions. I had a bunch of questions posted in the YouTube channel comment section. And if anybody's live and they have questions about their fitness or health journey, now's the time. So I hope you had a good week. I hope you've learned some stuff and maybe have implemented some things to help get you back on the track to health. Better health is all you can ask for. It doesn't matter how rich you are. If you don't have your health, man, then your life is miserable. And so many people, particularly in America, are out of shape and have all kinds of diseases that are caused by lack of good nutrition and exercise. It's unfortunate, but that's where we're at. So what I'm trying to do is reverse that. And my focus is on the everyday guy, that desk jockey, that dude that sits at a table every day or a desk and tries to muddle through. You know, we're all busy. You have life and families and stuff like that. But there are things you can do. There are things you can do to not allow yourself to become detrimentally affected by that particular lifestyle. So that's what this show has been all about, that we started on New Year's or beginning of the year this year. And I hope it's resonating. At any rate, let's say hello to the chat here, and then we'll start with some of the questions. So Hank is here, and he's been waiting to hear. Hank did have a question posted earlier, waiting to hear your opinion on creatine question you got. I also take 5 milligrams, only a few times a week, nothing else. Creatine is one of the most researched supplements that you could take. It's completely safe. They've researched that ad nauseum. So that's the good news. The way creatine works is that it attaches the water molecules intracellularly to the muscle tissue versus subcutaneously. So what that means is it attaches the water molecules to give your muscles energy while you're working out versus giving you bloat and making you, kind of thick around the middle, full of water, which would be the other one that I said before I had a mental fart. I want to say intravenously, but that's not it. But anyway, that's how it works. There's a select few people that creatine doesn't work for. I'm one of them. I've tried creatine a bunch of times, and I'll be honest, it's never worked for me. Subcutaneous, that was the word. It's always attached subcutaneously with me. So it never helped me with my lifts, but it did make me bloated. I've stopped taking creatine, but I'm also doing a carnivore diet, and the creatine is loaded in red meat. So I'm getting it in its natural form, and I haven't had any bloat as a result of that. So in a roundabout way, yeah, I am doing creatine, but I'm just not taking it as a supplement. So I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, throw another comment in there, and we'll address it directly. Dr. Mask is here. He says, hail Graham, hail Chad. Dan Genovese is here. Julie Pascal, trying to watch these, hopefully find some motivation. Well, that's great, Julie. Monday is Motivational Monday. I've broken the show down into 3 days. So it's Motivational Monday, Workout Wednesday, and then Fun Day Friday, where we'll answer questions and do a live chat type of thing. Here on the Steadfast is here, Marcus Calgrew. Hail, I'm trying to buy Yankee spring training seats for me and my dad. Well, excellent. Down in Tampa. What veggies do I eat with my meat and cheese? I don't eat any. I used to eat veggies a lot growing up and as a kid. I liked them. I liked spinach and I liked broccoli. Those are two of my favorites. Salads I like. But what I started to learn was the reason I like them is because they became fat delivery devices. I like them because I slathered my broccoli in butter. Or I put dressing and nuts and cheese on my salads. There's a theory, and I sort of agree with it, that vegetables are somewhat toxic. I mean, everything on this planet wants to survive, and the way plants survive is by emitting toxins. There's a bitterness to them. It's telling creatures that eat them that they're not going to enjoy them. They shouldn't eat them. But more than that, let's face it, our ancestors could not forage vegetables and survive on them. There's just not enough caloric density to them. You would have to be eating all the time, like a vegetarian animal does, without the benefit of a ruminant stomach, that can actually absorb all the nutrients that are in vegetables, which we can't. So I've come to that realization, and so because of that, I have not been eating any vegetables over the last, 5-6 months, something like that. And I'll be honest, I don't miss them. I mean, I shouldn't say never, because I do enjoy a good salad sometimes, but my salads are fat laden. I'm throwing in plenty of olive oil, dressing, nuts, that kind of stuff, cheeses. I like blue cheese on it. So again, I'm using it as a fat delivery device, and if I'm getting any kind of nutrient benefit out of it, okay, great. But I'm not getting the nutrients that everybody tells you is in the vegetables. They're in there, but we just can't absorb them. We don't have the ability to absorb them, not in those numbers. All right. G1 Gavo, I hope I said that right, says, hey. Normie Nerd. Dan Genovese says, it is resonating. Good. James Murphy is here. James, I know you had some questions, and I have those queued up, and we'll get to those. Chris Juliano is here. Hello. Dan's doing mostly carnivore too. He's heard that too about vegetables. G1 Gavix? How about that? I said Gavo. G1 Gavix. He says not even close. Shitbird Militia says to ferment the vegetables to get the nutrients, like a cow's stomach, but eating a cow is better. Yeah, I'd rather the cow do it, and then I'll just eat him. How about that? All right, let's hit some of the questions here. Oh, okay. Wait a second. I can't leave this untold. Gigavox. Well, how is the one supposed to be an I? How am I supposed to get that? Gigavox. Gigavox my ass. All right. Hey, James Murphy, who is in the chat, he's up first. So his question on YouTube was, what do you do to maintain progressive overload in your sessions if increasing weights isn't an option due to your strength plateauing? In the past, I've tried increasing reps, but I'm curious if switching out exercises would have the same effect, like moving from compound barbell to dumbbell supersets. Say barbell squats replaced with a superset of SLBSS with CMJ or box jump or barbell chest press for dumbbell chest press supersetted with cable crossovers. Just curious as your experience with switching it up, because I'm a creature of habit and I hate when I have to mix it up by changing my workout plans. Well, a lot of the stuff you're describing there is not the compound exercises that I was talking about with progressive overload. Those are splits, which we talked about a little bit later, which are isolation things where you're isolating, like the cable crossovers, that kind of stuff are isolation exercises. But to progressively overload, you're going to plateau. If you didn't, I mean, we'd all be lifting houses by now. Something is going to happen. And what I tend to do is I'll do a deload where if I'm doing heavy lifts for a period of time and I start to plateau, I'll knock the weights back and go into a more hypertrophic routine where the lighter weights and higher repetitions, that kind of stuff, just to give the joints and the muscles a break. And I'll even take like some time off, take a week off from the gym and then come back to it. We're going to plateau. We're going to, your age, your genetics, all that kind of stuff is going to, particularly at my age, I think I plateaued already. It's going to happen. So, you just got to keep going at it. Try approaching it different ways, alternate different types of workouts, and make sure when you go back to it, and if you're plateauing at the same spot, increase your calories. Maybe that's the thing. I mean, this is all really an experiment because everybody's different. There are certain things, I can say that work for me or work for other people that might not work for you. So we're all one big experiment here sometimes. So there's so many different factors that you can switch up. So a lot of times it could be you're plateauing because you don't have enough calories and protein to initiate the growth necessary to increase the muscle mass to lift the new weight that is being demanded on you. So give that a try. All right, Fat Samurai says, how do you feel about cardio on off days? Been rowing about an hour on rest days and wonder if it's killing gains. I'm trying to drop weight and build muscle. I'm 52 and packed on about 40 pounds I need to shed. Okay, so what you're trying to do is it's very hard to shed fat and gain muscle at the same time. You're almost fighting at each other. Gaining muscle requires a caloric surplus, and shedding fat requires a caloric deficit. I mean, those are the physics of it. Some people say they can do it, but I think they're genetic freaks. And their caloric deficit is probably very, very minimal, and they don't have a lot to lose. So I think what you need to do is just is focus on losing body fat while maintaining your muscle, not building, not looking at gains. So in that instance, what I'm going to say to you is yes, cardio on the off days, but you don't have to do hours of steady state cardio. One of the best things for fat loss is what's called HIIT cardio. It's an acronym for high intensity interval training. So what that means is, let's say you're on a treadmill. Okay. So you're walking fast on the treadmill and then you jack that thing up to where you're at a hard sprint and you sprint for an entire minute. Then you drop it down and walk again until you catch your breath. And then, bam, you put it back up again and you go to a full-on sprint like you're on a track and you're running as fast as you can. Drop that back down again. And you do this for about 20 minutes. And the advantage of that is that You don't catabolize muscle because it's an anaerobic exercise versus an aerobic. So you maintain your muscle mass. And if you need an example of it, you look at long distance runners. Long distance runners engage in aerobic exercise. That's what it is. Sprinters, which are higher interval training, look at their body types: muscular, thick, dense muscle, and powerful, versus long distance runners that look sickly, because too much cardio will catabolize the muscle. Whereas when you do an interval training like that, it maintains your muscle and it burns fat. Just like lifting weight is a anabolic exercise. When you lift weights, you're still burning calories, like I think it's 2 hours, an hour, 2 hours, something like that, after your workout. When you're doing just cardio work, like jogging or something like that, when you stop jogging, that's it. You're done. You're not burning calories anymore. So that's my advice: is that focus on the fat loss first and maintaining the muscle. So do the HIIT cardio and make sure your protein levels are high, so that you don't lose any, you don't catabolize any muscle or lose any, and you'll be fine. Okay, so let's go back to Vic. Vic wants to know what's a cardio you can do every day to burn calories that won't affect your strength training. Let's say if your body leans more to getting the fat than muscular side. Well, again, this falls into the same answer as Fat Samurai's. You don't need to do the cardio every day. I wouldn't suggest it. I would say, in between your weight training, that's the key. The weight training is key. Cardio is ancillary. So focus on the weight training and use up all those calories and all that energy on lifting weights and building muscle fiber. And then on your cardio, do the HIIT training like I talked about. If you can't do that or you don't like that, then on your off days, go for a long walk. There's nothing better than a walk. You're ergonomically designed to do it. There's no stress on your joints, and it burns calories while you're doing it. So throw some headphones on and go hit the miles. All right, our buddy Dr. Mask's Retro Elixir wanted to know, did part of my workout watching this video? I do a keto type diet. As far as vitamin D goes, the RDA is way under from what I have researched. I do at least 8,000 IUs a day, especially in the winter. Oh, okay. So wasn't really a question. And he must be referring to what I was talking about with my vitamin D, because I was taking supplements to raise up my vitamin D and it wasn't working. And then when I went on this carnivore diet, within 3 months, something like that, and I had my blood work done, my vitamin D was right up in the green zone again. So, again, getting your nutrients and stuff from your food is so much better than from a supplement. All right, Rusty the Boy Wonder said, thanks again for another great video, Graham. Out of curiosity, are you planning to release baseball caps with the Compass Comics logo? I know that you did with the beanies with your newest campaign, but I'd love to see a Compass Comics baseball cap. All right. Well, I haven't done that yet. I wasn't sure there was a market for the ball caps with the company logo, but eventually I'll get to that. Yep, I will definitely do that. Daniel Craig says, this is an interesting backstory, but I was curious more about the details of your transformation and what people should look for. Your starting weight, BMR maybe? BMI? What sorts of calorie intake you had started out percentage of fat versus protein carbs. Did you go 80% fat? Looks like a lot of keto places recommend 70% now. How did you calculate what you might have needed then? Maybe what you do now. Okay, that's a complicated answer because we're going back to 2009 when I started back in again. And my goal then was to get washboard abs at 47 at that point. I wanted to see if I could do it. So I did some reading and I read this article. It's on bodybuilding.com. And so I followed this guy's program, which as far as the macronutrients was a 40-40-20 split. 40% protein, 40% carbohydrates, and 20% fats. And that's a pretty standard ratio that bodybuilders use. And I didn't have access to a gym at the time. I didn't have a membership, so I just had a couple 20-pound dumbbells and a bench. So I did a lot of body weight exercises and lots of high repetition type stuff. So in other words, it was just cardio with weights. That's basically it. But I did have a Stairmaster, and I would go on that after my workout and hit that for like 30 minutes as well. And I shed all the body fat in like let's see, it started in January, February, March, April, 3 to 4 months. You know, I dropped down from like 20% body fat to like 10%. So I lost about 10% in that time. The problem was by doing it that way, I also catabolized some muscle. I also aggravated some of my joints and ligaments, had some inflammation in my elbows and stuff like that. So I achieved the goal, but it wasn't the best way to do it. And, you know, over the years, I've learned different ways of approaching it. And, you know, I started, as I said in one of the other shows, different styles of eating, you know, to practice different concepts of, and try to find that perfect human diet, the perfect human diet for me, you know, because we're all a little bit different. Our genetics are different. What we can tolerate, our allergies or the things that aggravate us are all different, you know, and so you've got to figure out what works for you. What I'm finding, and it really does come natural, because my favorite foods, like my birthday dinner as a kid, was steak. I wanted a nice big fat steak, and the sides I had were like rice and beans with butter. That was my birthday dinner as a kid growing up. So I've always loved meat, and that was always the central focus of my meals as a kid. And you know, I grow up and I start finding out, oh, you can't eat meat, you can't eat all that fat and all that protein and all that blah blah blah. And I found out they're wrong. You can. In fact, it's a much more natural way of eating, and our bodies process it much better. We talked about this on Ethan's show, and I did a whole show on fat is your friend. And if you haven't seen it, I suggest you go back and look at it, and then look in the description. You're going to see links to 2 articles, and these are, you know, like from the Cardiac Society, or I forget what, but these are, you know, these aren't, you know, fringe groups that have written these articles. This is the real deal. And this stuff is coming out more now. And eventually we're going to get past the mantras, the wrong mantras that have been shoved down our throats for, you know, 60 years now, that have turned our country into obese diabetics. So the truth is coming out, and I'm hoping to share some of that too. So let's see if I get any more of those. No, I got no more questions there. So let's go to the chat and see what we got. Okay, here's a good question. Timothy Fitzgerald says, do you think red meat causing inflammation is junk science? It's absolutely junk science, because red meat does not cause inflammation. In fact, it's the complete opposite. Sugars and crappy carbohydrates are what cause inflammation, not red meat. In fact, this whole demonization of red meat and saturated fats, come from the late 1950s with a physiologist by the name of Ansel Keys, who had toured war-torn Europe after the war and made postulated the theory that these poorer countries had less heart disease than these richer countries because they did not have access to meat and didn't eat that kind of stuff. They had a leaner diet, and so therefore he felt that that's what was causing heart disease. He forgot to look at Germany and France, who eat copious amounts of fat and proteins, whose heart disease rates were no higher than any of the ones he was citing. But he managed to, because he was a very strong personality, to bully people into thinking about it. And one of the advocates he ended up getting on his side was President Eisenhower's personal physician. And Eisenhower had 2 heart attacks. And so this physician, who was one of the main driving forces of the American Heart Association, bought into this. And so he told Eisenhower, you got to start eating quinoa and all this other shit, and avoid red meat and blah, blah, blah. Didn't occur to him that Eisenhower smoked like a chimney, to cause heart disease. I mean, didn't occur to him. But anyway, the American Heart Association started to adopt these things as a result of these 2 guys. And then we get the food pyramid, which completely was upside down, where you had your fats up at the very top and carbohydrates and stuff at the bottom. And the other key here too is with I believe it was Procter and Gamble who bought into this, and they donated in today's dollars, which would be $20 million, to the American Heart Association to demonize the saturated fats, because it was in their best interest because they produced Crisco, vegetable oil, and other seed oils. So it benefited them for Americans to start eating margarine and their oils instead of eating bacon grease and butter and all that good stuff. And as a result, the diabetes rate and the obesity rate in the United States from that time is trackable, and it's through the freaking roof. It's absolutely insane. So there's my if you think I'm a conspiracy theorist, I'm not. It's just it's real science. Normie Nerd wants to know, what do I think of resistance band training? Hey, any type of resistance to engage your muscles is great. If you don't have access to a gym and all the various things you can do there, that's fine. I have resistance bands that I bought during COVID so that I could do some resistance training. And you put enough bands on there, man, and it's hard work. The thing about resistance band is that the tension is there all the time, which makes it very effective. So I say more power to you if that's what you got. Body weight exercises too. You could do those, till the cows come home, and you can be in excellent shape and build strength. Would you think that organic vegetables would be better? Well, they'd be better only from the point of view that there'd be less pesticides, maybe, but the vegetable toxins would still be there. Set a give. James Murphy says Bulgarian split squat and counter movement jump. Excellent. That's another example of an exercise you can do where you don't have access to weights and stuff because it's your own body. I mean, you can do Bulgarian squats holding dumbbells too, but if you didn't have them, your own body weight, you do a bunch of those, boy, I'll tell you what, you're going to be walking funny the next day. Your ass is going to hurt. James says increasing calories is something I wouldn't have really thought about. So a bulk phase. Haven't done one in a while because I always find the cut too hard. Might try it though. Yeah, but the thing is, when you increase your calories, you got to make sure it's not just junk calories. You're not throwing bread and potato chips in there. Increase your protein to increase your calories. Increase if you're ingesting carbohydrates, then make sure that they're good ones. That they're complex carbohydrates, not just junk to get the calories up. Milk, get some fat in there. One of the great trainers, Mark Ripito. If you haven't looked him up, look up his videos because he saved my ass on doing squats and deadlifts. He's got some great how-to things. And he's the guy who did Starting Strength, the Starting Strength program. And he runs these clinics across the country and stuff. But anyway, Ripito, with high school kids and stuff, he tells them to drink a gallon of whole milk every day to get that fat and that protein and those calories to build on. So depending on your age, depending on your fat level, what your percentage of body fat is, might be something to consider to add. Melissa Ferris, Graham, what foods should I avoid to assist in weight or fat loss? I love fruit and veggies, but also have a big sweet tooth. It's a great question, Melissa. What I would say, and it may be hard to do, but you got to avoid the fruits as well. Fruits got sugar in it, and the sugar is really the thing we need to demonize, not fat. And particularly women. There's so many women that are insulin resistant because they've been on and off these fad diets, up and down. They don't eat enough fat and they don't eat enough protein. And fat is what regulates your hormones, and your hormones go out of whack. You feel out of whack. So it's really important, and particularly for women, to make sure that you get enough fat in your diet. Fat does not make you fat. Sugar will make you fat. Too many calories will make you fat. But fat in itself won't. Fat is necessary. In fact, fat and protein are the two macronutrients you have to have. You don't have to have carbohydrates. You can go your entire life without eating a carbohydrate and survive. You can't do that without protein and fat. And the reason being is that your body will manufacture. If you have an overage of protein and your body needs carbohydrates for some quick energy source or whatever, it will create glycogen from the proteins. So it's hard to do, particularly because standard American diet is so heavy on carbohydrates, but that's what you need to avoid. And I wouldn't say go all in right off the bat, because that's going to be hard and it's going to take a toll on you. You're going to feel foggy, maybe have headaches and stuff like that for a while. So I would just say start to cut down on that kind of stuff. And, again, keep the protein level up, raise your fat levels, lower the sugar levels, exercise, drink lots of water, and get lots of rest too, because your muscles rebuild when you're sleeping, when you're resting. So that's my advice, Melissa. I hope that's helpful. Fat Samurai is here. He says, thanks, Graham. Appreciate your time and insights. Love your channel. Thank you, brother. Dr. Mass says, check out Graham's site at compasscomics.com. Thank you. Please hit that like button if you're here in the chat, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Kettlebell, simple and sinister, is a great way to get a cardio exercise while also building strength. Well, I hate them. I'm going to tell you that right now. Kettlebells are what ruined my back a few years ago. Now, is it the kettlebell, or was it because Nolan did it improperly? Well, Nolan did it improperly. He might have had too much weight on there, and he got out ahead of himself, and he caused a pinch in the spine, which aggravated some deep muscle down in there, which has been problematic ever since. So I'm stuck with that now. A lot of people like the kettlebells. Not a fan, got to tell you. Hank says it's awesome that your health exercise videos are taking off and resonating with people. Thank you, Hank. I hope they are. Oh, here's a great question. James Murphy, how do you cope with injuries and strains during an exercise workout program? They happen and can feel very demotivating when they do. Yes. Here's the thing. If you work out regularly, you're going to injure yourself. It's a fait accompli. It's going to happen. You can overtrain, cause inflammation in your elbows or something, cause a pinch in your shoulders. I get all those things. I'm just starting to get this shoulder back into shape. I don't know what I did to it. And that's the thing. Sometimes you don't even know. Sometimes it could be I slept funny on it, and that I inflamed something, and then just going to the gym keeps that going, and it doesn't get enough rest. So you just got to deal with it. The great Frank Zane once said that if it hurts when you do it, work around it. Find another exercise so that you can get your workout in. And I agree with that. I rarely let anything stop me from going and doing my thing. I lower the weights. I change the angle if I have to, or I'll avoid it altogether, if I have to. But you just gotta, you have to know the difference between workout pain and that's not the word I'm looking for. It's an injury pain, but there are other pain. There's a difference between a pain where you've got, let's say, a tear, a muscular tear or a tendon tear or something like that. You got to rest that. There's no two ways about it. There are some pains you'll have, let's say, pains from a previous workout because you've got lactic acid in your muscles and you're sore. That's a different kind of pain. And so you have to kind of figure out which pain that is. And when you do this enough, you'll figure it out. So that's what I say. Ibuprofen's your friend. Take it when you're aching. Ice if you have to. And keep on keeping on. JP Roca says, what's good? All in the dice. Mela needs to listen in. All right, some kettlebell talk here. Follow the money on any study by profession. That's right. Bub66, I never get tired of eating meat, but miss some of my carbs when I go low carb, especially pizza. Thinking about going low carb again. Hey, good news. There's something now called cauliflower pizza. And believe me, I'm not one of these people that likes substitutes, for the real thing. But that cauliflower pizza is amazing. Uh, I've given it to my brother. I say, hey, what do you think of this? He's, oh, this is fucking great. I love it. I said, it's cauliflower. He's like, are you kidding me? This tastes like real pizza. And it really does. Absolutely incredible. So try that if you miss your pizza, because that's what I do. I'll go Friday night, Saturday night. Julie and I'll go up to a restaurant in town here, and we'll get a cauliflower pizza and wings. So I'll eat the chicken wings. It's all fat and protein, and then I'll have my cauliflower pizza, and I'll have bacon and pepperoni on it. Then it has the cheese. The sauce is minimal, no big deal. Maybe a little sugar in here. Not going to kill you. And then the crust will have carbohydrates, but it's a lot lower than regular pizza. So give that a try. American companies used to pay lawmakers all the time. Now they are just sneakier about it. They're not so sneaky. Their hands are in everybody's pocket. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. It was started by breakfast cereal companies, I believe. It was. And the cereal companies, I believe it was Kellogg's, they were pushing their products for religious reasons. Because they felt that eating fat and protein made men more virile and hornier, which would lead to premarital sex and all this other stuff. And so that's where they came up with these cereals. And I believe it was Kellogg's, the Kellogg's company, that started that. Rusty the Boy Wonder, what are some great beginner resistance trainings to start if you're just beginning? Well, I would start with body weight exercises. If your muscles aren't accustomed to lifting weights, resistance bands is another one in conjunction with body weight exercises. Pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, dips, body weight squats. All of these exercises you can do in your living room. And get a really good resistance workout. And as they become easier, you increase the reps, or increase the sets, or you increase the weights. If you're doing pure body weight, get a resistance bands and then start doing resistance band things with it, or get some dumbbells and do your squats with your dumbbells, and start building up. But those are all things that will help you build strength and get into shape. And it's a great way to start. Plants don't have the benefits of things like teeth and antlers, so they evolved to poison things away from eating them. Absolutely right. When plants want you to eat something, they have fruits. And they want animals to eat those fruits and then shit out the seeds. So they go through the digestive tract of the animals, and they pick up in the poop of the animal, certain nutrients and stuff, and reseed themselves, which is propagation, which is what every living creature wants to do, is to continue their species. What do you think of net carbs? I think it's a racket because no amount of fiber takes the carbohydrates away. No, it doesn't take it away. Yes, first off, yeah, I agree. Net carbs is sort of a hedging. Fiber is a carb that's non-digestible. So, it cuts out, in those total carbs, the fibers, you can't, you don't include them because they're non-digestible. But you really, if you're concerned about carbohydrates, you should be dealing with total carbs. And, if you can keep your total carbs, as low as possible, the better off you'll be. JP Roca says, gotta love the people who complain about their weight but drink extra large ice drinks from Dunkin' or Starbucks. Well, some of it is ignorance. They just don't know. Uh, you know, they just don't know the science. And in fact, you can't blame a lot of people because they've been told the wrong things for so many years. When I start talking to folks and I tell them what I eat for breakfast or lunch or dinner, today I had half a leg of lamb, all the fat and the meat, and that was my dinner, period. Had a couple glasses of wine with it. But I'll eat breakfast. I'll eat eggs and bacon. Today for lunch, I had an 80-20 ground beef burger with Swiss cheese and guacamole on it. And people look at me like I'm out of my mind. Well, you all that fat, it's gonna increase your cholesterol and your triglycerides and all this other stuff. And the fact is, yeah, my cholesterol level has gone up, and that was expected to go up when you eat this stuff. But ingestible cholesterol is different than your body, the kind your body makes. That's a genetic issue. And cholesterol in and of itself is not necessarily an indicator of heart disease in the absence of high triglycerides and other issues. So you can't just say, well, your cholesterol level is high, you're at risk for heart disease. Well, it isn't true. My triglycerides are right on the number, and my balance between my low and high cholesterol is right in the zone it's supposed to be. Yeah, my LDL is high. My HDL is lower than it should be, but the two of them together I'm still right in the green zone. So, I don't worry about that. JP Roca, that used to be me. Now I'm down to just black coffee. Cut 90% of the carbs from my diet. You know what I put in my coffee? Heavy cream every morning. Again, I'm adding more fat. You're crazy. Okay, Melissa, I think I just addressed that, and I just came to your question. I hope you were still here to hear that. The cholesterol is not in and of itself an issue. The entire organism and all the numbers have to be taken in conjunction with one another. Another measurable thing is what is your reactive C protein, which is what rates your inflammation levels. Are you inflamed? Do you have inflammation of the arteries and stuff like that? Because that's the real problem. Is arteries that have inflammation create perches for the plaque to collect on. If you got a smooth pipe, that shit's going right through it. Not giving anything to perch on. And when we eat crappy food, crappy carbohydrates, it causes inflammation. When I first went on keto, which is low carb, a couple of years ago, I had some serious shoulder pain that just wouldn't go away. I went on keto, and within a week, that pain was gone because it was inflammation pain. Henry David Voltaire, what's your diet? Do you count calories or do intermittent fasting? Do you do low carb? Yeah, I do carnivore, which is as low carb as you can get. It's pretty much fat and meat. I don't do intermittent fasting, and I don't count calories. I eat till I'm full, and that's it. Like I said in one of the other shows, I've done so many different kinds of diets trying to find that perfect fit for me. And I tend to gravitate towards either a keto or carnivore diet. Um, High fat, although keto is a moderate protein, carnivore is high protein, high fat. Um, and that, I do miss some things, no doubt about it, Um, but I'm not. I understand the adaptability of the human body too. So if I'm 95% doing my thing, and I go to the movies and I want popcorn, and I eat a bucket of popcorn, it's not going to kill me, you know. Yeah, I'll go back to eating what I wanted to eat, or my usual diet the next day, you know. It, I don't live like that. I find what works for me, I stick with it, and then when there's those times come up where I want something, I have it. I love beer. I've always loved beer. Um, so if I have a beer now, it's usually a light beer. I'll drink some bourbon because that's low carbohydrates. Now, I'm not suggesting that drinking alcohol is good. For if you're trying to lose body fat, it's not. It's counterintuitive. It goes against what you're trying to do. But I'm not trying to lose body fat, so I'm in homeostasis. If my body weight stays the same, uh, I eat the way I eat, and then if something comes up and I want something different, that's not on the menu, so to speak, I have it, and I jump back on the train the next day. I don't beat myself up over it. It's you know life's too short for that kind of stuff. So that's the place you want to be. You want to get your head into like what's working for me. I'm going to stick with this, and when I get to where I want to be, I can go off the rails occasionally if I want to. Thanks, Dr. Mask. Retro Alicia just picked something up off of Graham's website. Oh, excellent. Thank you. Let me just check here, see what you got. You got a giant sized two-fisted manly tails. Well done. Perfect for a meat eater like you. The Rat says, "Thank you for the fitness advice, Graham. I just backed Gosa Matacumba Key. Awesome. That is so great to hear. Thank you." Random White Guy. Graham, have you seen the new government issued health guidelines? It claims egg substitute fried in canola is 2 times better for you than a regular egg. Oh my God. Oh, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. You can smell the money from these companies to get the government to say that. It's absolutely incredible. Oh, Dan puts butter in his coffee. He does the bulletproof coffee. I couldn't do that. Now the salt, maybe it's saltless butter that you're using, and you're just adding the fat. I could get that. I like the heavy cream. Have you seen the video of the guy who ate 10 tablespoons of butter every day for 10 days? I have not, but I've seen some videos. There's this girl who promotes a carnivore lifestyle. She eats a stick of butter every day. I can't do that either. I mean, I like butter. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'll cook everything in it. Like this morning, I had a leftover ribeye about that big, and I threw butter in a pan, cooked that up, and it was great. Uh, but I couldn't just take cold butter, and eat it. Melissa, thank you for all this information. We'll definitely be making changes for my whole family. Fantastic, Melissa. Keto with intermittent fasting gives the body time to heal. A lot of people swear by intermittent fasting. I've done that too. Can't say that I felt any different or any better from it. But again, this is the kind of thing. We're all unique. Find what works for you. Yes, sir. Can't wait for the book. Also, gonna try the red meat and bourbon diet. Now, wait a second. That's not what I'm saying. Maybe I will have a bourbon when I'm done with this show. It is a Friday, right? Got to live a little. Dan says, my cousin invited us over to dinner this Sunday. I'm going to eat what they cook and get back on it Monday. Don't beat yourself up if you have a bad day. That's very true. What I find is that 99% of the time, I'm able to stick on my diet no matter where I go. If we go out to a restaurant, who doesn't have a steak or a burger that I could get without a bun? I could say, hey, give me 2 patties with bacon and throw it on lettuce and tomato or something like that, or wrap it in lettuce, and I can pick it up that way. Very easy to do. If I go to somebody's house and if they're serving snacks or stuff like that, they're usually got cheese or vegetables with dip, and I'll dip into that. I'll avoid the potato chips, which for me is very hard, by the way. That's kryptonite for me. If I'm going to go off the wagon, there's maybe 3 things that will toss me off: potato chips, fresh baked bread, and beer. Those are the 3 things that if I'm going to have a cheat day, it's going to be something like that. Bub66 says eggs are a superfood. You're right. Well, Dan uses grass-fed unsalted butter. Do you use Kerrygold? The Irish butter? I just bought some of that. I really like it. It's expensive. It's grass-fed, but I get it salted. David Brohawk Williams, Graham, when you finish flexing, pretending you were me, put my biceps back where you found them. Why you? Good to see you here, Dave. Are you following my advice? Nate 313, at 50, my eyes are awful, my knees hurt, but I still feel a serious love of exercise and food. Excellent. Dr. Mask says, where is it? Just had 2 bunless cheeseburgers for dinner. See how easy that is? And I had that for lunch today. My buddy Dan Frag is here too. That is the best butter. The Kerrygold, yeah. General Piggy, thank you for that $4.99 super chat. Much appreciated, sir. Are nuts keto? Yes, yes and no. In small quantities, they are. Yeah, they do have carbohydrates. They're high in fat, of course. I love them. I love nuts, but you got to eat them sparingly if you're doing keto, because there is enough carbohydrates that'll kick you out. Oh, that's just because you're Irish, James. You're supporting the Kerrygold butter. Much love, Graham. I fell off the fitness wagon. I need to get my butt back in gear. You, sir, are an inspiration. Thank you, brother. My goal is to make America great again. Make America muscular again. All right. Well, we just covered through the chat here. That was awesome. Oh, we got a couple more. Sam Goyer, I know cheese is low carb, but it's hard to not overeat. I have to be careful. Hey, if you're only doing fat and protein, then you don't have to worry about it. I'll slice into cheese, hard cheese all the time, big old hunks of it, and just eat it up. Just, pure fat, dairy fat. Yeah, that's it, Dan. Make America swole again. That I should make a hat that says that. Make America swole again. That'd be great. All right. Well, my friends, I want to thank everybody for coming in here, bringing your questions. I really do appreciate it. Wasn't sure how this was going to go, but it's much appreciated. So Monday, we'll do a motivational thing on Monday, get you going. If you, again, questions, throw them up into the YouTube channel, and we'll try to address them every Friday. Do something fun and kick back on Friday. Oh, I can't let this go by. Mr. Sean Ferris, thank you for that All-American 1776 super chat. It is much appreciated, my friend. Well, hell, if you guys are going to throw super chats up, we'll just stay on. Turn this into Ethan's channel. Get lots of super chats. Dan's going to go eat some eggs. Okay. Excellent. Yeah, I had some great leg of lamb tonight. Found it. Our store had it, and it was only $11 a pound, and it was butterfly. Didn't have the bone in it. I'm like, shit, for that, I'm going to try that. So Julie put a rub on it and stuff, and roasted it in the oven, and man, came out great. Really, really good. Again, if you focus on those ruminant animals, they have the most nutrients when you're eating them. You get the most out of them versus something like, say, chicken, pork. If you stick with like lamb, deer, beef is the superfood right there. I'll tell you, it's so great for you. But I'm glad we got vegetarians. I'll tell you, because if everybody was eating this, the price of beef would be even higher. So the vegetarians, you stay at it there, dudes. Enjoy your grass and all that kind of shit, and we'll just have some nice big ribeyes with a good salt crust on them. I'd go cook one if I had one. Yeah, give it a try, Dr. Mask. It's a strong meat. One might say gamey the way deer is, but you don't have to soak it in milk and stuff like that. It's an acquired taste. I think it is strong, but it's very tasty, juicy. Will I be at Tampa Bay Comic-Con in July? Yes, I will. I just got booked. I told my agent to put that on the list to get me on there, because we're trying to get a CG hookup at that show. So I didn't want to miss it. So the answer is yes, I will be there. Oh, Rusty says, I've been supporting your book since Alien Alamo. Can't wait for Matacumba Key and my add-on copy of the Shinu via the new campaign. Well, that is so appreciated, Rusty. It really is. When people tell me they've supported the books and stuff, I can't do it without you guys. And I hope you enjoy the work, and the process of creating it and stuff that we've developed here. through crowdfunding and the relationships we've been interacting with. You just can't beat it. I think it's the greatest thing to happen to comics since Action Comics #1, and that is the interaction between everybody. So thank you for that. Dr. Mass, no, Terrificon's the same weekend, I believe. So no, I won't be at Terrificon this year. So come down to Tampa. A lot of folks are going to be there. Do I plan to continue any of my stories or other stories from Two-Fisted Manly Tales? Well, with Two-Fisted Manly Tales, all the writers and artists own their properties. I wanted to make sure that Compass Comics respected the writers and artists and that I didn't own their properties. So I gave them full rights. So it's up to them if they want to do stuff with it. They're more than welcome. My two stories, Buck Thornton Always Gets His Man and Crossing the Rubicon. I am going to do something with Buck Thornton. Kelsey and I are going to do something with him eventually down the road, but I have a bunch of things in my schedule here that I got to do first. So the first up is I have to print up Joe Frankenstein. I'm going to do that in two separate books. So it'll be a part 1 and part 2 because it's so long, and put that under the Compass Comics banner and get ready for the continuation of that series. And then I'm going to do the same thing with Return to Monster Island, get that on the Compass Comics banner also before I do Escape from Monster Island. So they'll all be new stuff added to these things so that if you have those books already, they'll be new again. And they'll be better because they'll be published by me. I wish I could back everything CG. It's rough. You and Aaron are my next books. Excellent. Thank you, Nate. Will you be going to the New Jersey Garden State Fest with Tucci? Yes, I am. And Andy Smith is going to be there, and Dan Fraga is going to be there. We're working on getting Art T. Bear. And if we can get Old Man Winter Aaron out from the West Coast to come, we're going to do a whole professional show from there. But it's going to be a ball. And regardless of whether all the bros are there or not, I always do my cigar and Hawaiian shirt night. Usually that's Saturday night. So everybody will be meeting at the hotel. Billy and I will back our pickup trucks, throw the beds down, and then we'll all sit down and have cigars and drink bourbon and have a lot of fun. So plan on going to that one if you're in the tri-state area. That's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll do the same thing in Tampa too. I do that at all the shows I go to. I try to get all the fans together. We'll have a night where we all go out, have cigars, wear Hawaiian shirts, drink some whiskey, and tell some lies. It'll be fun. Well, Dan's from Long Island. I grew up in Long Beach. Do you know where that is? Long Beach before we moved to Florida. I was late to the party and didn't start backing until John goes to Medical in Bikini, but I made sure to get Alien Alamo and Shinu Tua. I won't miss a campaign from now on. Excellent, Dan. Excellent. Okay. Make sure I don't miss anything. Any super chats or anything. All right. Hey, that was a fun Friday night, my friends. Much appreciated. And again, I hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you on Monday for Motivational Monday. Put your questions in the YouTube thing. If you have anything, I'll answer them if they're quickies. If not, we'll do the same thing on Friday and we'll discuss it then. Oh, I'm never gonna get it here. Long Beach is about 9 miles from me. Ugh. What are you in Rockville Center or somewhere like that? Wow. All right. Let's see. Sean says Melissa and I are in New Jersey. Morristown is 40 minutes away. Many great restaurants. Excellent. Yeah. When I was first married, well, I went to school at the Cubert School in Dover, New Jersey. And then my wife and I were married, and we lived in Hackettstown, up Route 80, towards Panther Valley in that area. So I know that area, that northwestern area of New Jersey, pretty good. So great pizza. Whew. Great food there too. Oh, Dan's from Garden City. Okay. All right. Rusty says he wants baseball caps too. All right. I thought it was somebody else who mentioned the baseball caps earlier, but all right. That's 2 votes. Cool enough. All right, my friends. If you haven't gotten your workout in, go do it now. Be motivated. Get through your weekend. We'll see you Monday, and have a great one. Bye-bye now.